On the Good Morning Artesia radio show, Linda Stevens is here from Artesia Clean and Wonderful. We're still trying to figure out who on earth was in the parade Tuesday.
Well, there wasn't a whole lot, so the process of elimination should be not too hard.
Well, it's not so much. I mean, we have the list of everybody that was in the parade. Jessica sent that over. Mm-hmm. And so, and pretty much self-explanatory. Do I have the email? No, I don't have it here. So I think she emailed it to me. But one of the entries, they filled out an entry form. They said what their organization was, and they signed it, but they didn't put their name down. And so we're confused because it could be one of 4 or 5 different pageants. I mean, there's not just one Miss pageant that's held every year. There's several different pageants that are held. And so they just wrote down the name of the pageant, which is and they're all very similar.
Right.
And then signed it, but didn't print their name out to say Miss America, New Mexico, USA, blah, blah, blah. They just miss whatever the pageant was that they're a participant in, and then signed it. And so we don't know for sure exactly what the name of the pageant is that they are in. Now, Tanner took a shot. I think this is, I don't know if this is from the parade. Yeah, this was from the parade. So this is the picture that he's captured from the video.
Okay. What does it say? Miss New Mexico?
And it says Miss New Mexico.
Okay.
But there's Miss New Mexico USA. I mean, there's a number of different things.
Well, if there's not something after Mexico on there, another word or initials, then I would say it's Miss New Mexico.
But then here's what it looks like, the name that is on the truck, on the sign.
I don't have glasses on.
Yeah. So that could be the lady that we see in the picture.
Yeah.
It could be.
I don't know.
And then if this is who it is, who it is, then there is a pageant called New Mexico America.
Really? Okay.
Angelica Ortiz is a 35-year-old single mother of an amazing 4-year-old son, Caden. Angelica works full-time as an assistant property manager at Canyon Stone Apartments in Artesia, New Mexico. So that's right here in town.
Yeah.
And so when I look at that picture that Tanner sent, that could be the 4-year-old son that's with her.
Oh.
Maybe.
It kind of looks like her.
It kind of looks like
her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hair a little different and, smiling, and the other one was more straight,
yeah,
somber expression. So
I think maybe that's who that is. Is that who that could be? I guess. And look, it doesn't matter. I mean, if she was in the parade, she's going to be seen when we show the parade later today.
Right.
Every other entry that we have in the parade, we have who they are, except for her. And we want to put her name on there if that's who she is, so that she is recognized. But
there's a concept. Call Canyon Stone. Ask.
There you go. We could do that. Were you in the parade Tuesday?
No. Oh,
no. That's what we would ask. Yeah. Well, here's one for you. I had Lana took a message yesterday from a client of ours, and they had a question that they needed to get answered, and I was tied up, so I couldn't take the call. Tanner's on vacation, so Lana takes the call. Here's the phone number. Here's the person to talk to at this company, and they have a question about something.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. So I get done with whatever I'm doing. I pick up the phone and I call the number. First time, no answer. Oh, okay. Lunchtime, whatever.
Sure.
Tried. So then Tubes McFingers, our cracked former engineer, visited yesterday. So we were chatting. We were going to go get something to eat. And I said, let me try one more time to see if they answer the phone.
Sure.
So I called the number, and a gentleman answers the phone. I said, hey, I need to talk to Kim. I don't know who you're talking about. I said, well, I have a message to call this number. Is this? And I repeated the number. Yep, that's the number. I said, well, somebody here just got a call from Kim from this number. And they have a question and I need to talk to them. Well, there's nobody here by that name. I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay.
And I said, well, I don't think we wrote the number down wrong, and it sounds very legit what they want to ask about. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. We don't have anybody here by that name. Everybody's at lunch.
Well, when everybody gets back from lunch, tell them to call the radio station to get their question answered.
So,
wow.
So it was not a very pleasant call. And I was being as nice as I could be. I'm returning the call. I wasn't even the one that initiated the process. So Tubes and I go to lunch, and my phone rings, and it's the office. My phone, if you call the radio station and there's no one here,
it rotates to your phone.
It goes to my phone. So and I know it's a call coming in from the office, not
right.
Okay.
Sure.
And so I take the call, and it is the person calling back who doesn't exist.
And their name is
Kim. It was Kim. Kim called me back, and and said, well, I've only been here a month, and I haven't met everybody. And I said, well, there's a gentleman who answered the phone about 40 minutes ago that you need to go introduce yourself to.
Because you don't exist.
Because you don't exist.
Yeah.
And
wow.
that guy was, I guess he was having a bad day. And it just kind of took me by surprise because, again, I wasn't soliciting.
No, you were trying to solve their issue of whatever.
Yeah, I didn't initiate the call. I was returning the call.
Oh, yeah.
And I got, why are you calling me, basically? Why are you calling me? The person you're calling about does not exist. I don't know what you're calling about. I'm busy. Go away. That was basically the attitude I was getting back from the other person. So I don't know. I've never worked in a company that big where I don't know everybody that I work with.
Right.
Have you ever worked in that where it's such a huge company that
you make a point to know everybody that you have to work with anyhow.
Yeah.
And I'm horrible with names, but eventually they stick,
Eventually you figure it out, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought, well, that's weird. I mean, it's not that I'm not used to being yelled at. I've been yelled at before. But in this particular case, I was trying to understand why I was being yelled at.
Exactly. And then you begin to question your own self. Did we do something wrong? Like, is there a number wrong? Is there a name wrong? Did I misunderstand? Of course, Kim is a pretty easy name to understand. It's not like, some of these that you have no clue. You hear once and it immediately goes out the other ear and you think, oh, am I in trouble now? Wait, can you spell that, please?
So it was not a happy phone call, and I've answered the phone. I've not been able to answer questions before, but I think I'm always nice. But I have caught myself being snotty sometimes, like when we get a little bit of snow.
And that makes you snotty.
No.
Oh, okay.
We get a little bit of snow at school day.
Oh, are we
The superintendent of school will be here at the radio station, or I'll get a call from the superintendent of school. Here's what we're doing with the schools. We will announce this. We will put it on social media. We will do all this, and then we'll get the phone calls. Is there school today? What else am I supposed to do? We put it on our social media. We put it on our radio stations. I'm talking about it now on the air.
Yeah.
And so
That's because people don't listen.
Well, they're in their little bubble and they don't pay attention.
Yeah.
And you've encountered this with some of the projects you've worked on. Other people have encountered it too. And I don't want to sound snotty on the phone. I don't want to sound irritated on the phone. I want to answer their question. But sometimes after a conversation or two, I'll hang up and I'll go, ooh, I hope I didn't sound too
curt,
because I'm just trying to answer the question. I think the worst example of that, this was when Mike Phipps was superintendent. And Mike would come into the radio station. He'd be on the phone with all his people out there, and he would stand right there. And he would say, this is what we're going to be doing. And then we'd go on the air. I mean, like 7 o'clock, 6:45, we'd go on the air with the official word from the superintendent of schools as to what we're doing. And a lady called me one time on one of these instances and argued with me and said, well, the TV says. And I said, well, ma'am, who do you want to believe? The TV station in Albuquerque or the radio station where the superintendent stood right here in the studio 3 feet from me and told me the information that I'm telling you? But the TV says.
Well, then you do whatever you think you should do.
So what, my initial smart aleck response was, well, then call the TV station, click. But that's not what you're supposed to do.
No.
You're supposed to be nice to everybody that calls. But how do you handle, I guess I handled it okay. I don't know. She's
if they're not
probably still mad at me.
I don't care. If they're not any smarter than that, what goes on in Albuquerque is not what's happening here.
No, but the Albuquerque TV stations are the only TV stations that we have.
Right.
A lot of people watch the TV.
Sure.
The TV stations have invested thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in reporting software and systems. Superintendents have codes they're supposed to call and passwords to get this info into the system so that it can go out there for the people to see. I've had these same companies have inquired with us, you need to sign a contract with us for your storm, your school closure software. And I say, school closure, we have maybe one a year.
Right.
Why would I spend that kind of money for something that, but if you're the TV station and you've got mountains and snow and all that kind of stuff, it's a worthwhile investment. So I understand the process and why they do it and why they spend the money to do it and how important it is. I don't know how it gets wrong.
Well, that...
But that's not my responsibility.
Yeah, that what we have right here in town isn't always the same weather as what's out 10 miles from here.
Right.
Or vice versa.
Right.
They could be having a heck of a dump and, we're going, what? Where? Huh?
Yeah.
We don't have a drop of anything.
No, I understand that.
So what they get, Artesia, okay, but that doesn't mean right here where we need to be, in the city limits.
Right.
Or out of the city limits.
What it tells me is in this particular case, the lady doesn't listen to the radio.
Right.
She watches the TV.
Sure.
But that didn't seem right. And instead of calling the TV station, she called the radio station. And when the radio station gave her a piece of information that was not matching what was on the TV, her first thing was to question the radio station and not the TV station. And when I explained that, look, the superintendent was standing right here who gave me the information that I have, she still did not want to believe the radio station because she believes what she sees on the TV.
Yeah.
And that was what was frustrating in that particular call. And again, I didn't want to be a snot. I didn't want to be, but
sure.
What else do you say?
Exactly.
When you have that type of a customer interaction, and then again, when I think about it, well, are they really a customer if they're calling to verify what they see on the TV as opposed to just listening to what they hear on the radio? So I don't know. Customer service is kind of an issue for a lot of folks. I would just
finally say, well, you choose whichever announcement that you want to believe and just go with it.
Yeah.
But people laugh at us because we will close schools in this part of the country for virtually an inch of snow.
Oh, I know.
And it's ridiculous. And then there's other communities and states, and they're trudging through 2.5 feet, and they still go to school.
Yeah.
So, and they're just laughing. Oh, you silly people down there! You get a flurry and you panic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's
funny.
No question about that.
And I realized that a lot of the closures have more to do with the school buses running.
Exactly.
Than anybody in town being able to get to school.
Right.
Because if the schools can't, or if the school buses can't get out on a dirt road somewhere or whatever to pick up kids, that's why they're closed. It's not because your kids still can't walk those 4 blocks in a half an inch of snow.
Yeah. It's the bus kids, especially the rural kids, that they have to really be
to think
concerned
about.
Yeah.
You know, we used to get closures because of dirt storms.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd hold the kids at school and not let the buses run and threaten you with your life if they caught you out on the highway.
Yeah.
You would get a ticket.
Yeah.
And stopped and turned around because visibility.
Yeah, dangerous situation. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure people up north, as in the northern part of the states, not our state, but would question what in the heck is a dirt storm that bad that you would, you know, close or hold buses or anything, because the weather, you don't get those sorts of weather elsewhere, or we don't get their weather. And
right. Well, the other thing too, they don't understand back north or back east is water, how precious water is.
Yeah, not when they get 72 inches a year.
Yeah, and we live in the desert and are lucky to get 4 or 5 inches a year, and we've got water compacts, and we've got to make sure Carlsbad Irrigation District gets their water. We got to make sure Texas gets their water. You know, it's out of the comprehension of a lot of people that don't live in the desert.
Yeah, when they get a little shower, that's half our annual rainfall.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy.
It's just amazing.
The funniest phone call situation. This was when I was in Mississippi, and we'd had an ice storm, and power was out, everything was shut down for a number of days, and I remember the guy that I worked with, he got a phone call from a listener or a friend or a listener who was a friend or a friend who sometimes listens, something like that. And they said, hey, if they make an announcement about the schools tomorrow, can you call me and let me know? And he said, yeah, we'll have it on the radio in the morning. Just listen in the morning. We'll have it on the radio. Just as soon as we get the word, we'll put it out on the air. And they said, no, I need you to call me. And he's like, why? He says, well, I don't have any batteries. What do you mean you don't have any batteries? Well, the batteries I have are in my TV. I don't have any batteries for my radio.
Oh. Then you need to stock up prior to this disaster.
And I think he actually did say to them, well, then you need to call the TV station to see if they will call you to let you know if there's school today. I think he did say that, but I think he knew her. It was a friend that he knew, so I guess he could get away with that. But you know, it's crazy. I think if people would take a little bit of time and listen to the local radio, pick up the local paper, and just kind of soak in a little bit about stuff that's going on around them.
Yeah, not state or national. You can get that off television. Get the local stuff, because you need to know what's going on locally. I've told people, I said, if you don't, when our newspaper was daily, and I said, if you don't buy any other paper, get Sunday's paper or whatever and read the Around Town and, you know, whatever else is in it, so you know what all of the nonprofits are doing or the organizations or whatever. You have to know what's, because they say, well, I don't know anything, you know. Well, it's out there. Yeah. But you have to kind of help yourself a little bit too. Yeah. You know.
Now, when do they print on Sunday, or do they just print on Thursday?
Now it's just Thursday.
It's just on Thursday. So what? And how much is it now?
I have no idea, because we have a subscription, so we can, you know, get our
I understand that. But if you don't want to have a subscription, you want to mess with any of that. If
I still don't know, because I don't buy the paper.
No, right. But if you go to the post office on Thursday and grab a paper, or go buy the paper box.
I honest to God do not know how much.
But that's a pretty cheap investment.
Yeah.
To have an awareness of things that are going on around town, and then we're free. You know, we're on 93.7, we're on 990, we're on the app, we're on Apple CarPlay, we're on Android Auto, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. So I mean,
you're out there.
We're out there too, and maybe you'll enjoy some of these conversations, but you know, at least you'll have kind of an idea of stuff that's going on around in the area. You know, because we have the librarian, we have you, we have the senior center, we have the mayor, we have the county commissioners.
Well, even one day when I was talking to the kids, I said, you know, people around here will say, well, there's nothing to do. And I said, that's not true, because you can be just as busy as you want to, but you got to get off your couch, because there's activities all the time at the senior center. There has been so many activities at the library all summer.
Yep.
There's an exhibit at the museum right now. On Wednesdays, you can go and see a play at noon at the Ocotillo.
Well, that's done for the summer. Well, but you could have this past.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
But last Saturday there was Day of the Cowboy. The Thursday before that, I think it was the hot summer night shopping or whatever they called it downtown.
Yeah. There's things to do.
There's things to do, but if you
went to the Eddy County Fair Monday night, they showed a movie. They had a cowboy church service followed by a movie on Monday night. And so if you hadn't seen, what was the movie? It was the Jungle something or other with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. And a free movie. You could have sat out there, had a little popcorn, and watched a free movie. So there's things to do, but
and the fair is going on right now, so you don't have an excuse.
So if you do nothing else, turn the radio on for a little while in the morning, and on Thursdays go buy a paper. If you do nothing else, do those things and at least be a little more aware of what's happening.
Yes.
We'll be back and talk more trash with Linda on the other side of the news. KSVP